This is the introduction meeting for Caya Shobo's retreats, or information session for Caya Shobo's retreats. Open to anyone who has questions about the retreat. And what we'll do is just go around and answer your questions. We have a pretty small group today, so we should have lots of time to answer everybody's questions. And or if you don't have questions, I can just give you a general overview of our service and what it is that we do. So what we'll do is we'll start with Leah, who joined the call first, and then I'll see if I can step through your principal question, and then we'll go over to Dennis, and then we'll come back around if you have more questions, if that's okay. So before we get started, does anyone have any points they want to make? Are you okay if we just jump on in? Yep, good.
Yeah, good. Yep.
Okay. So yeah, Leah, please let me know how I can help you. You said you'll be joining us in October. Is that for the women's retreat that runs from late October through to mid-November?
No, the early October.
Early October.
I've been planning to come to Caya Shobo for quite some time now. And was going to wait till next year, but sort of at the last minute, we've decided to go to the early October retreat.
Okay.
So, I mean, it's still, 8 weeks away, but I feel a bit panicked now. And I'm like, oh my God, like, what do I need to do? Because I wasn't planning to do it this soon. So, I mean, I don't really have any specific questions because I watched your information session on YouTube that you did for the last one. Yep. And I just watched that yesterday, and that answered a lot of my questions anyway. Okay. So that was really helpful.
Good. What were the principal questions, may I ask? Because it might be helpful for other people. Just this session will be shorter, so it would be convenient for people. What were the main things that you were feeling unsure or concerned about?
Trying to think what was, I mean, it was great when somebody asked about accommodation, where to stay in the transfers, like in Iquitos and Lima, and it was really good because I had planned to stay in Iquitos, but when you said, Lima's probably a better choice, well, then that's changed our plan. So that was great information for us.
Okay. Yeah, Iquitos is such a noisy, kind of stinky little town that if you it's nice to, I don't know, spend a little bit of time in Lima and go and check out Miraflores, or just be comfortable at the airport hotel there and have a meal in the restaurant or whatever before you come up. So, well, that's good. I'm glad
Lima is great for a few days for sure. It's a very nice town.
Say that again, Dennis.
Lima is great for a few days.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It's fun. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
it is.
We actually planned to go to Machu Picchu after the retreat to sort of help integrate there. So we plan to stay there for a few days.
Have you booked your accommodation
there? No. We're going to see a travel agent on Monday. I was going to try and book it all myself, but because we're going to the retreat and then to Machu Picchu and then hopefully home from there, rather than going, it's hard because I'm not familiar with the country or the transport. So
I would just share with you that when you go to Cusco or to Iquitos, or basically all of the local flights, they fly out from Lima to these places. And then,
right.
And then you
so
need
that's
to
the major one.
They're just little short flights, I think it's a pretty short flight to Cusco. So I would be very surprised to hear that you can find a flight home to Australia from Cusco. You would basically have to buy a return ticket to Cusco, but it's short, and then leave back to Australia.
Right.
Yeah.
So do you have to go from Australia? Do you have to go through Lima and then to Iquitos?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
so everything goes through Lima, right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Before COVID, they offered some flights which came directly to Iquitos from Colombia or from Ecuador, but I haven't seen those lately. All of the flights since travel restarted that I've seen have gone through Lima to get to Iquitos. And again, it's not a very long flight. It's like about 2 hours or an hour and 45 minutes. But yeah, you buy a return ticket. And I prefer to fly with those domestic flights in Peru with LATAM. It's a little bit more expensive than the other options, not usually a lot more expensive. And it's a more reliable airline, more likely to be on time. A little bit more comfortable. Buying a decent seat is not expensive. Yeah, it's just generally makes my travel smoother. So I usually look for my international trip on skyscanner.net.
Skyscanner. Oh, yeah.
I don't know if that's as good for flights from Australia because, you know, it's only limited airlines that go there. But I look for my international flight there, and then I go directly to the airline's website to try to buy the ticket with the airline, because I've found that if there's a travel hiccup and I get delayed or stuck somewhere, trying to deal with like a cheapo flights or a flight hub or whatever is very problematic. It's much better to just with the airline itself. And then I will buy my little domestic flights directly with LATAM. That's usually
okay. Oh, that's good. Yeah, that's very helpful.
Yeah.
Yeah, just the other question, I think I know the answer to this anyway, was with dairy. So if I'm cutting dairy out, can I still eat the dairy-free stuff from the supermarket? Will that be?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
The comment that I'd give to you about that is that most of those dairy alternatives are very salty. So,
okay.
So in your preparation, there's kind of, you know, the recommendations are to cut out red meat, dairy, acidic foods, salty foods, definitely no pork. We don't eat pork at all.
Right.
No alcohol or substances. Cut out all, you know, non-critical medications, and any critical medications need to be cleared as to whether they're safe. You know, so you're basically just simplifying your diet down to fresh fruits and veggies, organic chicken, good quality wild salmon, something like that, right? But there are different parts of those restrictions that are more of a concern than others. So it is really important to cut out red meat, and it's best to cut out dairy as early as you can. With the salt, acidic foods, sugary foods, things like that, you can cut them out a little bit closer to the retreat. Salt is a block for ayahuasca. It kind of blocks what we call the mediación, which is the state of being affected by the medicine. Salt will kind of hold that at bay. So the longer you can stay away from salt, the better. But we usually say minimum 3 days. But if you make like a good effort of 5 days or more, then your body should be pretty open. That is a little bit tricky when you're flying. You might want to request a no salt or low salt meals.
Right.
Yeah, so that's usually the problem with the dairy alternatives, is that they're pretty high salt. So you could take them up until, you know, maybe a week before, and then start trying to cut them out so that you're not taking them at all a few days before. But I don't see a problem with dairy alternatives. I quite like them.
Okay. Great. That's good.
Okay, why don't we give Dennis an opportunity to ask a question, and we'll come back if you think of more things, Leah, and we'll just go around just so that we're balancing it out a little bit.
Thank you.
Hey, so Dennis, are you coming to the center? Are you confirmed with a reservation?
I don't know. It's today I just found out about a center from a friend of mine who was there like many years ago.
Okay, great.
So I just accidentally stumbled upon your Zoom session link.
Okay, well, perfect timing. That's nice.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
where are you calling from? What's that accent?
Pisak.
From
Pisak. Pisak.
Oh, you're in Pisak. Okay. So what did your friends share with you about the retreat? What is it that
It's like she liked it. It's intense, and that's about it. She had good time and a lot of strong experiences.
yeah,
And
it can be intense.
good.
Yeah.
It's an adjustment.
What are you looking for? Is there something in particular that you're looking for help with, or are you more just curious about the Shipibo way with the medicine, with plant medicines?
More just curious, mostly like what am I looking for? Connection with higher self, I would say that would be the most interesting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would say probably, I don't know, a quarter to a third of the guests coming to our retreats have that as their intention for the retreat. Certainly, have you tried ayahuasca before? Would it be?
No.
No. Okay. Any other strong plant medicines like that?
Wachuma, but it didn't work out too well. So.
Yeah, it's more gentle. Yeah. Well, maybe.
No, but more gentle. I had like 8 hours of horrible time. Physical, very, very horrible. And so I'm thinking maybe to go to a local ceremony. There is one recommended with ayahuasca tomorrow. So, but I haven't. I'll see how many people are going to join.
Yeah, I was going to suggest be careful because there are some gatherings up there where it's a lot of people. And I have a pretty strong opinion about that. I don't think that's especially helpful. Ayahuasca opens energies, right? It kind of opens everything. And actually that's the main use that the Shipibo people have for it, is to open the vision, open the energy, and open the connection with the spiritual world. But without skilled practitioners to clean what is opened, and if you're in a group setting with a lot of people whose energies are being opened, it actually can be a little bit unsafe, particularly energetically, because there's a lot of energies flying around, and yeah, it can be a little bit complicated. So I would just say, be cautious. Try to avoid large groups where there's 40 or more people and maestros.
No. Definitely not.
Yeah.
How many people are in your retreats usually?
We limit it to 11 usually. Occasionally for private groups, we might push that a little bit, maybe have one or two more. But we have a kind of seasonal intensity too. Like typically at this time of year, it's more quiet. It picks up around October through to April. And then we used to have larger groups. We used to have like 20 people or more. But with COVID, we redesigned everything. When we first reopened, we had like distancing protocols, which we had to respect. And so we halved the number of people. And historically, we would have more than one person in each of the regular rooms, but we decided only to have one person. And we came to 11 as a good number. And that gives each individual a chance for private isolation. It gives them more space, and it gives them a lot more personalized attention and treatment. So, and also the facilitators, like the way we work with the medicine, it's pretty deep. It's not just ayahuasca. Ayahuasca for us is a tool, but to really support healing and transformation, we work with a lot of other what we call master plants. And the healing and kind of self-reflection that those plants stimulate can be pretty intense. And so the work of the facilitators there is a lot of give, they're giving a lot of support, and having more than 11, 12 guests it starts to become a little bit challenging to really truly support people. So
and how many maestras usually, like, in the ceremony?
Usually 2 to 3, depending on the number. So if we have like 7 or 8 people, we'll have 2. If we get up around 11 people, we'll probably have a third. And we have 2 to 3 facilitators as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how important is it to, like, if the maestra speak English or there's translators?
No, they don't speak English. They maybe have 1 or 2 words, but we have translators.
How important is it to talk to maestra on a deep level, or should I just?
All of our facilitators are there to help with that translation. So our retreat program is set up. We have 12-day retreats. Oops, sorry, I nearly dropped my ice drink. We have 12-day retreats, and we have 4 ceremonies per retreat, per week, 8 ceremonies per retreat. So we have ceremonies Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday of the 2 weeks. And then each day we have a meeting from 10 to 12. And sometimes it's a little shorter. And those meetings have a different focus, a different emphasis. So on the first day, we have an introduction meeting. We talk about how the retreat goes, the details of the program. And then we have the maestros come down and hear each person's intention and, make introductions and so on, and learn about what it is that they're looking for help with. And then the next day we have a meeting where we hear the Dieta plant prescriptions from the maestros. So everybody comes together and hears that. And then the maestros will leave and the facilitators stay and talk in more depth with the guests about how to be in diet, what a diet is, the history of diet, and clues to look for as to your diet kind of becoming evident. And then we proceed each day. The discussions kind of develop. We allow that to happen in an organic way, but from our experience, we've observed certain themes typically come up at certain times in those discussion meetings. And sometimes we set it up as a group discussion, and sometimes it's one-on-one. So the maestros will come down another couple of times during the week, and we'll either talk as a group, or you'll have the opportunity to come and sit with them and ask questions, hear feedback. They're not very forthcoming with commentary. In their culture, they're typically pretty quiet. They don't talk a lot. I think they find it a little bit overwhelming how much Westerners talk, actually. And also they don't always understand the nature of the experience that people have had in their lives, experiences of trauma in particular. For them, some of the stories that people are bringing can be pretty weird. And also the level of mind dependency, the level of disconnection from the body and from nature for the maestros can be a little bit confusing. They can find it a little bit strange. So our role as facilitators is really important to help to bridge the understandings that they have of the plant medicine world and of the, let's say, sacred teachings of the plants and of that world, and also their cultural kind of ways of interpreting those things, and bridge that with the Westerners' search for self-understanding, search for a reconnection with spirituality, and search for healing. I would say most people are coming for particularly emotional, but also physical healing and psychological healing. So our facilitation team, we're very picky about team members. We're very, we have a high standard around expectations of level of experience. We have a lot of people writing to us asking for volunteer opportunities, but because we are so particular about the depth of the healing work that we do, we require facilitators to be dieting for years and actually undergo quite a lot of training in the team for how to best support people during these retreats and how to be a good bridge, for those different perspectives and sort of sets of values and understandings about what's happening in the ceremonies and what's happening in the Dieta process. So some of the discussions we have are just with the facilitators, and it's a balance. If you feel like you really want to talk more with the maestros, we can make sure that you have the opportunity for one-on-one conversation, but most people find it more helpful, I'd say, more meaningful, the conversations with the facilitators, sometimes with the maestros as well. We kind of like share the conversation. Yeah, how does that sound to you?
Yeah, it's great. Thank you. The question was more like, do I need really okay, let me think for a second. Usually do people talk a lot about what's going on with them, or it's mostly like an inner journey and you go through your stuff, and sometimes when it's like really bad or something, you need to go talk, or
it depends really on the person. We really hold that each person's personal profile, their history, their makeup in general is unique, and therefore the journey to kind of see yourself, which is what this medicine will encourage, is unique. There are common themes. So particularly with the diets, also with ayahuasca, there are common sort of visions that come up. There are common themes around healing, around releasing grieving, around understanding higher realms of consciousness, lower realms of consciousness. So when these things come up, we offer our reflections based on our experience in our own journey, and also supporting hundreds of other people over the years. Some people are more forthcoming, some people are more private and really want to just process themselves or want to have private conversation. Some people are dealing with pretty severe trauma and are just not able to talk about it in front of other people. So it's a spectrum, but I would say on balance, most people within the first couple of days, there's a kind of magic that happens with the group coming together. It's usually very serendipitous. It's like a certain group of people will kind of happen to be in a retreat together, and there is a kind of kindness that unfolds and a kind of mutual compassion and support. And so most people do tend to want to share. In fact, they can be surprised at how much they want to share, how much comes up, but there's no pressure to. There's no, we're really avoidant of any sort of a tribal kind of cultish vibe, there's no correct way to heal for everybody. There are things that you can take into account that can help you not end up kind of going into weird worlds of self-delusion and confusion. And we may offer sort of caution about things like that. There are genuine knowledge pieces to learn about how to work well with the plants, how to get the best from them, and how not to turn all of the process kind of dark and complicated. And there's genuine technical knowledge that I would say there are correct ways to diet and correct ways to prepare for medicine. But in terms of your journey of self-discovery, your journey of understanding spirituality and the spiritual world or spiritual realms of consciousness, it's yours, So we really respect that, and invite a space where you're doing your own work, of
Okay.
understanding ourselves.
Thank you. And is there there is no like what else there is besides ayahuasca? So ayahuasca every couple of days, right? So what else is in between? Can we use the phones? Can we not use the phones? Can we talk between each other? Is it silent retreat, or how
Sure.
like what else is there?
How does it look? Yeah. Okay. Well, it's we do master plant dieta. I don't know if you've heard about that.
No.
All right, just a sec. So there's an article on our website which you can have a look at. It describes master plant dieta versus ayahuasca healing. And there's so much emphasis on ayahuasca in the Western world, right? Ayahuasca is like this kind of miracle thing that can offer you, you know, such remarkable insight into the stuff you haven't looked at within yourself, or into remembering of your spiritual nature, you know, things like that. There's so many accounts of remarkable experiences with ayahuasca that it garners a lot of attention. It gets a lot of attention in the West. But actually, the mechanism for healing, for transformation, for helping people become rebalanced and reharmonized within themselves and in their relationships in life and in their work and all of their endeavors, in the Shipibo medicine tradition, the mechanism is Dieta, master plant Dieta. So there are dozens of other what have been identified as master teacher plants in the Amazon jungle that the Shipibo people work with. In fact, hundreds. But we work with a few dozen of them. So in their culture, if a person is unwell or is looking to understand something or is curious about the shamanic path, they will first of all do a diagnosis with ayahuasca in the ceremony. So with the benefit of their own years of dieting master plants, they have a kind of levels of vision that allow them to see what's going on inside of a person. What's the state of their mind? What's the state of their emotional being? Where's the spirit at? And how healthy is the body? And they would typically start with any obvious physical issues. And then from that diagnosis with ayahuasca, they will prescribe master Dieta plants. And so that's what we do. That's our emphasis. So ayahuasca for us is like a way to facilitate seeing. It's also a way to clean the body, clean the digestive system, clean the blood, and open the mind to these spiritual realms, which is very healing for Westerners. For the native Shipibo apprentice or shaman, it's kind of taken for granted. It's part of their experience. But to actually give you, you know, that experience of change of your being, of a kind of metamorphosis, a process of metamorphosis from where you are to, you know, more liberated, we initiate a dieta. And so with that initiation of a dieta, after the maestros have done a diagnosis, they, through their songs, kind of plant an energetic seed inside of you for the connection, the communion with these teacher plant spirits. And it's not just whatever plants. These plants have been identified over thousands of years as having a particular medicine within them, particular wisdom teachings within them, which are usually kind of delivered through the dreams and through the ceremonial visions, but through the entire kind of like, it's kind of like shifting the Titanic, you know, like we have these grooved in patterns of perception and grooved in ways of being in relationship with ourselves and with others. And ayahuasca will allow us to see them. But the diet plants and the diet process is where we see there's an opportunity to actually shift. And the plants will support and kind of nudge you into new ways of being. So our Dieta retreats are all about that. We initiate the diet and then we take you through the journey and support you in how this, you know, new exploration of the world of ayahuasca while facilitating the connection with the plants is happening. So every day you're drinking your particular prescribed plant, which has been prescribed to you.
So it's different for everyone?
Yes. Some people end up doing the same diets, but we don't believe in just putting everyone through the same experience, because everybody's different. And we are genuinely wanting to try to help people with their curiosity and with their particular healing needs. So one person might be dieting a plant that helps strengthen their kind of defenses. Another person might be dieting a plant that helps restore self-love. A person such as yourself with curiosity about the spiritual world, depending on what they see on the first night. Oops, it's frozen. Oh no, it's okay. Might be dieting, say, a plant to open the color of the spiritual world, like Bobinsana is a plant that does that. You know, the plant that I mentioned about strengthening defenses might be Ahosacha. A plant for kind of facilitating self-love might be Swelda consuelda, which is a type of mistletoe, or Morosa, another jungle, a plant of the jungle. So there's a whole spectrum of things. You know, a person who's maybe been caring for the dead or has recently lost a loved one, or works with sick people a lot and has a lot of energies that have contaminated them, might diet a plant which is specifically aimed at cleaning those dark energies and opening the perfume within the person, like albaca. We write about some of these plants in our blog. You can learn a little bit about it. But while you're on a retreat, you would have a plant prescribed to you, and then you would drink that plant every day.
So how do they determine, like, actually what's good for me? Do I tell about what I see, or how?
It's a combination of listening to your hopes, your wishes, your intention for the treat, what you are curious about, what you want to achieve, what you'd like help with. And predominantly it's what they see in you. But those other pieces of information can be helpful, because sometimes the vision develops, right? What they'll see on the first night is a first kind of X-ray, if you like. And then as it proceeds, they will see more deeply into you.
So they see during ceremony what's going on, like, with my, I don't know, interaction with spirit, right?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, this is that quality of vision, the capacity to see in detail. So most people have visual experiences with ayahuasca, lots of visions. But over years of experience, the nature of those visions, and not everybody has visions. For some people, it's more physical or emotional, but many people do have visual experience. But over the years of experience with ayahuasca, those visions, the nature of them changes. It changes and shifts. An apprentice in the Shipibo tradition, in order to learn how to be a shaman, must undergo many years of dietary training. They must diet many plants, powerful plants, difficult plants, that remold them, that reconfigure them in deep ways and cellular ways. And while that's happening, open the vision to different levels of understanding. And in particular, the doctoring vision, the vision to see intricately what's happening inside of you. And it sounds fantastical, but I know after 15 years of dieting and working with this tradition that it's real, because I've seen it myself. And with that, the measure of the quality of a shaman is really how many diets they've done, how well they've done them, because a diet is not a diet is not a diet. Like it's up to you how well you practice the discipline required for the diet and how you deal with the insights that come up. The journey of real healing involves a lot of confrontation of things that we're carrying: emotions, thoughts, resentments, grief, anger, frustration, depression, you know, all sorts of things that, if you really want to transform a person, will be required to be reconfronted, reassessed, and cleaned. And so, you know, in order to really release and liberate a person from those things, the diets will be chosen to actually facilitate where a person's at that point in time. And then ultimately, over years of dieting, because some people feel really drawn to this and continue with it for a long time, then a kind of path of apprenticeship naturally starts to open up. That's our approach. We don't believe in doing a 6-week, 12-week shamanic training course and suddenly you're a shaman. We just don't see it like that. It really takes many years. But so our emphasis is Dieta. We feel that it's the real way to actually access an understanding about the spirituality that resides in nature, and particularly these master teacher plants, which, like I said, have been identified over thousands of years. This is not just a story. This is a genuine tribe that has, in its knowledge, been relatively uninterrupted by different cultures. It's maintained its knowledge of how to access the wisdom of these plants. And the maestros that we work with are lineage bearers, genuine lineage bearers, who've been working in most cases with this tradition for at least 3 decades, 2 to 3 decades. So they're extremely knowledgeable, extremely skilled. And then what they will do is each night that we have a ceremony, their songs will be sung to you individually. And in the Shipibo tradition, what is unique is that they're not learned melodies with learned like kind of verses and choruses that are just kind of sung to you to uplift you. They're specifically crafted in the moment according to what the vision shows them is happening in your field. And so they're a kind of personally prescribed surgery. And that happens each night in the ceremonies. And then that's changing and shifting as you go. And that in itself is like a diet. That in itself builds in you during your retreat, and you will experience movement and change from that. Then we're also, every second day, we give you flower baths, which is where really aromatic leaves and flowers are kind of mashed up in water with perfumes, and then your energy is kind of cleansed with those. You take a flower bath, and because a lot of stuff is coming off, we sometimes do purgatives. Most likely you'll do a purgative with a plant like albahaca or azucena or pinon blanco. This is non-psychoactive plants that induce vomiting and clean out your digestive system and open your blood vessels and kind of flush everything out and prepare you for the deeper work of the Dieta. Some people are prescribed special teas that you might drink throughout the day, sometimes to help calm the nervous system, to help aid sleep. It's different depending on each person. And then you have the option, if you're interested, to receive massage treatment. We have massage therapists come in, and you can reserve a 1-hour massage treatment. We choose not to offer many other additional activities like yoga or like breath work or things like that. We really want you to focus on the Dieta process. The ideal situation being that you rest, that you stay alone in your bed or in the maloka, which is our ceremonial space. It's a very comfortable, peaceful space. And you give the plants the opportunity to kind of work deeper in you and allow yourself to make a connection with them. Now, most people are social creatures, and we end up chatting in the dining room and hanging out a little bit. And that happens quite a lot. In the beginning of the retreat, we talk about if you're feeling at all like it's too much, the interaction, the best is just to be alone and rest. And we give the kind of model example of the Shipibo shaman who's learning in their apprenticeship path, who does their diet alone in the jungle in total isolation, eating 1 small meal a day and not having conversations with anybody. So if you want the best outcome from your Dieta process, we recommend that as the best way to do it. But again, there's no pressure to do it like that. We encourage people to stay at the center. We sometimes do a field trip maybe to a rainforest reserve, there's one up the road, or to an animal rescue center or something like that. And some people are really determined to go off and do other things. They want to maybe go to a monkey sanctuary or a butterfly sanctuary or whatever. But we prefer it if people stay. Like, we're not going to hold you prisoner, but we really have a container happening there, and the healing work is intense. It can be pretty weakening. It can make you feel like,
so you really need like a couple of days of rest between ceremonies. You just like eat and people just eat and rest.
So we, like I said, our schedule is Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday for ceremony. So we take rest on Wednesdays, Saturdays, and Sundays.
Oh, okay.
It's not required that you drink every night, but we do strongly encourage you to come to ceremony when we have ceremonies. There's no pressure to drink a lot of ayahuasca and have powerful experiences. If you want to, we have the quality of medicine and the quality of support there to allow you to do that, as long as you can hold the medicine. If a person's really losing it, we won't be facilitating that. We want that to, a person to strike the right balance. And so some people are a bit blocked at first and don't have a lot of ease to feel the medicine. It takes a few days, but then as the retreat gets going, they're usually having stronger experiences. So we find when there's a couple of ceremonies together, we're able to kind of work through the blocks, So there's a spectrum of ways of doing the retreat. Some people like to really go for it. They're drinking a lot of medicine. They've got strong experience. They really want to be alone. They want to amplify the intensity of their diet as much as possible, which you can do by fasting or by opting for a traditional Shipibo food diet, which is just one river fish and a plantain every day. Other people are like, no, I want to be more comfortable. I want to eat the full offer of salads and chicken and fish and, rice and stuff. And I want to chat with other people in the dining room. We share with you, we teach you what is the best way, and then we respect your freedom of choice to the extent that we don't want people disrupting one another, right? We want respect for each person being in their process. And like I said many times, we're a healing center. So some people are there for some pretty serious work. So I'd say that there's a level of maturity and kindness that is kind of asked of everybody, and it's typically not a problem, So, yeah.
Okay. Thank you. That was quite insightful.
Let me jump over to Amber and then back to Leah.
One quick question. So if I'm gonna do, let's say I'm gonna try ayahuasca tomorrow, and I ate like a curry a few days ago, so I've been sort of like trying to ease up on food, but I didn't have a set date for the retreat, so I've been like sometimes eating some salt and sometimes eating some. I haven't eaten red meat in a while, but maybe a little bit of milk or curry a few days ago. So,
well, the people that you're considering sitting with should be giving you guidelines. They should be giving you guidance on how to prepare, and if they're not, then that's not a great sign.
It's pretty standard, no? I'm going to a drop-in ceremony, so I'm not going to retreat.
Even so, people hosting drop-in ceremonies should be giving people guidelines, and they should be checking your medical state. So if there are medications that you're taking, or if you have certain physical conditions that, that they don't know about, it can actually be dangerous. It can be lethally dangerous. It's not a joke. It's not a casual thing.
No, I'm okay. No medical conditions and no medications. But it's like a question of the diet.
Yeah, I mean, it does concern me a little bit that they're not giving you this guidance. Like, you should be getting guidance, even as
they may be giving you. I haven't talked to them yet.
Yeah. Okay. Well, so talk to them and find out. But what I would recommend is you want to avoid salt, dairy, meat, especially red meat, sugar and acidic food for at least 3 days before, preferably longer. If you don't, it's not going to kill you. It's going to make you uncomfortable and can potentially make the vision stop.
And fruits like, what is it called? Piña.
Piña, no, it's too acidic. So Yeah, so fruits like apple, pear, orange. Oh, sorry, apple, pear, banana. That's it.
Mhm.
Orange is a
That's
bit.
okay.
The acidic thing is more like it kind of interrupts the connection with the medicine. It doesn't block it per se, it just kind of like interrupts it. It kind of cuts it. Whereas the salt is a block, you're most likely to not feel much if you've been eating a lot of salt. And
Mhm.
the meat and dairy will create significant digestive discomfort and kind of intense energies.
Mhm. Okay. All right. Thank you very much for answers.
You're welcome.
I'll listen to the rest.
Yeah,
Thank you.
take care with your search, and we hope to see you. Okay. Amber, is there anything you'd like to ask me? I see you there, but maybe you just want to listen in. That's okay. Leah, is this
She's at work at the
okay?
moment, so maybe she might
That's
not
all
be
right.
able to. I'm not
Yeah,
sure.
that's fine.
She might
So
just be
Leah has-
listening. But can I
Yeah,
don't
sure.
want to
Is
speak
this
for
about
Amber,
questions?
but I did want to ask a question because she's coming along because I've asked her to come with me, basically.
Okay.
But she doesn't want to partake in ayahuasca or anything that's
Yeah,
psychoactive, or I guess. But she and I'm sure she won't mind me divulging this, but she has chronic lymphatic leukemia, and I was wondering if
yeah, I heard that.
she would. Oh, yeah, I did send it in an email, so I was wondering if
about you, yeah, yesterday.
if she would still get benefits from
The diet.
being, yeah, or just being in the space.
Oh, totally. Just being in
with the
jungle.
shamans.
Yeah, absolutely. It's deeply healing, definitely.
Mm.
I did reply to Flor that we need to know a bit more about Amber's medications.
Yeah.
Dieta is a delicate process. But okay, first of all, step by step. There's no pressure to drink ayahuasca at Caya Shobo.
Yeah.
There's no requirement to drink it. Our emphasis is healing, and our means of administering healing are through plant dieta, Icaros, and ayahuasca healing predominantly.
Yeah.
So, oh, she's jumped off the call.
Oh, yeah, but that's all right. I'll pass it on.
Yeah, well, also I'm recording, so she can jump in.
Yeah.
That's not an indication that she was uncomfortable with the conversation.
Oh, yeah, I don't think so. No.
Okay. So with the dieta, the plants are, well, the process is delicate. Just like if you're growing a little tiny seedling, it's fragile, right? So if you're also taking chemical medications, it's not really feasible to be doing a dieta at the same time.
Right.
It's
yeah. So yeah,
damage the
that's
process.
probably going to be the case, isn't it? So
Yeah, well, so some people who have chronic conditions can take a break in their medication as long as they check with their doctor that it's safe. They can sometimes pause for a little while, maybe pausing about it, depending on the medications, but maybe a week or so before coming to the retreat, and then restarting after the retreat. If that's not an option, then simply being in the jungle and receiving Icaro treatment is definitely going to help. Yeah. And there's a lot of learning, that can happen, and just self-reflection. The conversations in the group discussions or the one-on-one discussions where the maestros talk about what they see, or where the facilitators are sharing about their own experiences or other people's experiences that they've supported on their journey, can be very helpful. It can really provoke a lot of personal reflection and thought, and absolutely it can be beneficial. Just being there in the jungle surrounded by the intense natural energy of the rainforest is healing, actually. Constant cacophony of insects and birds and frogs and the heat and the aromas of the plants, and it's like an immersion, it's like a bath. and that is healing. It's also, you know, it can be a little challenging, it can definitely be uncomfortable.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's yeah.
I guess I was wondering if the shamans, like without her taking the ayahuasca, would they still be able to see?
It's harder. It's
like,
harder for them to
heart,
see,
yeah.
but they
Yeah.
can still see energies. And you know, particularly if she's able to reduce at least or eliminate medication intake for a time, then while the person's there, they can typically see more as the Icaros, because the Icaros take time to kind of flourish inside of a person. They're like planted inside a person, and then the energies kind of move over the subsequent days and sort of open more and more. And so usually they can see more and more, but for sure, medications can block their vision. And if a person is drinking ayahuasca, they can typically see a lot more.
Right. Yeah. Sure.
In the past, in the history of the use of ayahuasca by these tribal peoples, in general, the patient did not drink ayahuasca. The maestro, the shaman, would drink ayahuasca and use it to give him or her vision. And then that vision would inform them what other treatment to prescribe to the patient. So they're quite familiar with working with people who don't drink ayahuasca. When they go home to their local towns or villages, they keep working. Their community members come to them for treatment, and most, I'd say all probably don't drink ayahuasca. So they have a lot of experience with, kind of sensing what's going to be most helpful for the person. But for sure, the medication is a little bit of a question. If she can consider taking a break, that'll be way more beneficial for her. But she must find out if that's safe to do so.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. And just a question, ibuprofen and paracetamol, I'm guessing you would have to stay away from that before as well.
Yeah, so they're not like severely contraindicated. Ibuprofen is not a good choice. Tylenol, you can take it close to attending ayahuasca ceremony without it being dangerous, but it's not great. Okay. And it is another block. It does tend to block. It's kind of stress on the liver. But are you taking them regularly?
Yeah, I get a fair bit of hip pain, but I can just put up with it, I guess, really. I was just wondering sort of how close to coming when I should stop taking it.
Well, critically, you want to have stopped taking it. Do you want to have, not be taking it within a minimum of 3 days of coming?
Yeah.
But ideally longer.
Yeah.
Ideally weeks, I would say.
Yeah.
It's especially if you're fairly, you use it quite a lot. It's it's a heavy thing for the liver to process. Yeah. So it will definitely be stressing your liver. And so this preparation process to get you there to the jungle, where you're changing what you eat and you're starting to think, oh, what am I doing? Why am I doing this? And you're going to start looking at yourself and what might come up. And as you get closer to the retreat, that can actually really intensify. The whole journey of healing starts now, actually. I mean, it probably already started before. And the cleaner you can make your body, the cleaner you can set up your diet, and the more kind of chemicals and contaminants you can kind of keep away from your body, the more insights you're going to have, the more clearly you're going to be able to see what's coming up for you, And I would recommend that you pay attention to your dreams if they start to open, and have a look at, well, what am I being shown that maybe I'll be working on in my retreat? Because most of our stuff originates in our childhood. And so you may have some insights coming up about that, you know, primary relationships, particular moments in your life when things happened, you know, or just kind of forms that exist within yourself, like ways that you relate with yourself or with your life. The insights will likely start to come. And so some people really want to dive into that process intensely early, and they will strictly clean up their diet and introduce, you know, strong meditation practices or other practices to kind of facilitate that healing process as early as possible. It's up to you, but I would say definitely, you know, try to leave it out a week or two before you come at
Yeah. Okay. Just on the wildlife, is there a lot of wildlife at the because we want to see some sloths basically? Is there, will we have to leave the
there are a few options. So yeah, at our place there, you often, not always, but often you'll be lucky enough to see a troop of monkeys come through now and then. It's kind of a sweet treat, and they're free, they're wild, so that's kind of cool. There are a lot of birds, a lot of frogs. You might see an owl or two, snakes, maybe, lots and lots of weird and wonderful insects. But there are many different centers where you can go to actually see animals. And there's a zoo not far from us. It's about a 15-minute drive from us. Kisto Culture Zoo. And you could go there and you could see sloths. Oh, hold on. Their sloth enclosure was not accessible the last time I went there.
Okay.
But they do have so many other creatures. They have like tapir. I don't know if you know what they are. They're like these weird, like jungle cows, like short cows with like long snouts. They're really sweet.
Right.
They have jaguar, which is kind of sad because they're pretty small enclosures for jaguar. I find this a little bit challenging to go to because everything's, you know, kind of behind bars, but it's very interesting. There are animal rescue centers that you can go to on a river boat. So you would have to, we can help you organize a driver to take you probably on the weekend in the middle of the retreat, take you through town to the port, at the other end of town, and then get a little river boat, which would take you to one of the animal rescue centers where you can see a couple of sloths, and monkeys, and maybe a boa or anaconda, and
that sounds amazing.
And stuff like that. It's a bit grotty. Like, I have to give it a heads up. It's third world, you
Doesn't
know.
matter.
It can be a little bit kind of mucky because it's the river and there's mud on the side, and you know, and it's these structures that the centers have built are basically just rickety wood slats kind of hammered together. So it can be a little bit, you know, it's not like a fancy clean somewhere. And that going through town, like I mentioned earlier, can be disruptive to your dieta for sure, because there's less diesel and noisy motor cars and stuff. But if you're determined to go and do it, we can definitely help organize drivers to take you. It's not super expensive. Like, you're probably, including the motor car and the boat, I mean, you're probably looking about $100 US each, something like that.
Cool. The only other question I really had was, is there any things that you've found that people don't pack that they should? Like, from your last information session, someone said, it might have been on the website, I can't remember now, but a head torch with a red light, because
so, and
I sort of thought, I wouldn't have thought of that. Are there other things that people have thought?
A little people like to take lavender essential oil and peppermint essential oil.
Okay.
Peppermint essential oil is a good kind of treatment when you've gotten a mosquito bite that's kind of itchy, and lavender is mixing that with peppermint can tone it down, because peppermint can be a little bit intense. Yeah, most people like to take some sort of a natural concoction of essential oils for a mosquito repellent. Some people like to take more of a chemical mosquito repellent, but it can feel a little bit intense when you're in Dieta. You become way more sensitive to smells. So a natural one can be good, but they're not as effective. So maybe you want to take both.
So mosquito repellent is okay?
Yeah, mosquito repellent. I mean, people end up leaving a lot. So we have a big box full of them. We have kind of dozens of bottles of mosquito repellent, but a lot of people like to bring their own natural mix. So like there are certain essential oils that are good for repelling bugs, like geranium, cedarwood, citronella, and so you can usually find a natural mix that doesn't have chemicals in it. I usually make my own. I take down essential oils every time I go, and I have a box of them, and then I make my own repellent. But that's something people like to take. Flip-flops or like easy slip-on, slip-off sandals. When it's raining, it can get kind of muddy. So something that is easy to tiptoe through the mud and like then wash them off easily. I was just thinking of something else. Oh, Ziploc bags. I like to take a Ziploc bag or two, like if I want my computer with me. Well, generally we don't recommend you bring your computer, but like when I'm working, I want my computer there, so I'll put it in a Ziploc bag with a couple of little desiccators. You can get like vitamin containers, or go to the pharmacy and ask if they have any left over. Like that's usually good to put in a Ziploc bag with your computer. Things that I would take. A hat.
Yep.
Want to go for a walk? When you're in Dieta, it's good to have protection from a hat. I don't usually take a rain jacket. Some people do. Okay, I think okay, hold on. I think Diane, is that you? Oh, she's still trying to connect. Okay. An umbrella, maybe a little umbrella can be nice. A water bottle.
Yeah.
One with a handle on it that's easy to carry around.
Yeah.
I usually take a little shoulder strap bag. I like to take my water bottle, my cell phone, my mapacho, tobacco, a lighter, a good quality lighter in your bag, in your checked bag. Usually not. Oh, hold on, maybe it's the other way around. You have to check that out, whether you put it in your checked bag or you put it on in your carry-on. I think you have to put it in your checked bag, and you can only take one.
Okay. Can I ask what the light is for?
Candles.
What you would need. Oh, okay. Yep.
And some people, a lot of people like to learn about using mapacho tobacco. So we teach about that. That's one of the principal kind of tools of a Shipibo shaman is mapacho tobacco. Mapacho is a tobacco plant that grows in the Amazon. They use it a lot for self-protection, and we teach about how they do that. Hi, Diane. We're just coming to the end of the info session, so nice to see you.
Nice to see you.
Still answering a couple of little questions. What else? I mean, you don't need a lot, one or two lightweight, comfortable sweaters, and mostly lightweight clothing, Usually I'd have.
So it won't be cold at all in October? Like, would we?
Like occasionally it can get a bit nippy at nighttime.
Okay. Yep.
So that's where it might be good to have one or two sweaters. Well, we have
Yeah.
blankets if you need an extra blanket on your bed. We provide blankets in the Maloka.
Okay.
Yeah, socks, 1 or 2 pairs of comfortable socks.
Yeah.
For that potential that you might get cold, but it's unlikely.
Yeah.
Most likely it'd be hot. Shorts, tank tops, dresses, lightweight stuff. Yeah. I mean, that you don't need a lot.
Yeah.
Maybe a swimsuit. You might want to go for a little
Oh,
swim.
okay. Yeah.
Lagoon up the street, up the road. There's
Yeah.
Depends how comfortable you are with that. It is kind of a wild lagoon, and could be a little bit scary for some people.
Do you wear bathers in the flower bath? I imagine, would you? Or
well, the flower baths have doors. You don't.
oh, I see. Right. Yep. Okay. Yep.
Yeah, we just built a new little flower bath hut. Actually, we had a really nice one, and then it got eaten by the jungle. Everything gets eaten, and during COVID, it just kind of fell over. So we just built a new one with the concrete, and kind of, my husband likes to be creative with it. He made it with this like cool, like Indiana Jones jungle design. So you have privacy in the flower bath, and I do it naked. Yeah.
Yeah. I was imagining it being out in a lagoon. So yeah.
No, it's
but it's more private than that. Yeah.
Space. Yeah. I like to take one of those super absorbent towels, but it's not essential. We give you towels.
Yeah.
I just have they're a little bit more expensive, but I like them. I like to have that with me. Yeah.
When you said to bring a water bottle, so is the water there okay to drink, like to fill your water bottle up, or
from the shower? No, it's not potable water in the shower. So we give potable water in the dining room, and you will take that water with you to your bedroom or to the Maloka
right
around the place. Yes, and the teas that we give you, and the drinks and stuff that are there in the dining room are totally drinkable, but
right. Yeah.
the shower water. So the shower water comes from our own lagoon, and it rains a lot in the jungle every 3 or 4 days, usually at minimum. And so it's being refreshed a lot, and it's a flowing, like it has an outlet, so it's not like typically stagnant. But when it hasn't been raining for a while, it does get a little bit, and so we just recommend caution, like not letting water from the shower go into your mouth. So yeah. And not brush your teeth with it, where you brush your teeth with water from the dining room.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. If you're gonna bring some deodorant and shampoo, like try to choose really natural stuff. Don't bring any makeup or anything. Like it just wouldn't.
No.
Face anyway.
No. God no. Okay. So gentle shampoos and stuff.
Yeah, have a look at the ingredients. Try to get something that doesn't have a lot of sulfates and weird stuff in it.
Okay.
Can I ask a quick question, because I got to run? Yeah. Who do I talk to about some particularities, some payments or dates?
You can email. On our website, you'll see lots of links to our email, but I'll just give it to you here now. It's team@shipibo.com.
The email I saw, so the way would be in email to talk to somebody?
Yeah, email's great. Like most people who want to come have lots of questions and kind of write to us here on that email address, and then whoever's in charge of reservations at the time will get back to you. At the moment, our friend Flor, Flor, she's doing the reservations management. Our regular reservations manager is on maternity leave. She just had a baby. So yeah, that's the email address to write to, and she'll help you.
Okay, thank you very much for everything. I gotta run. Was very insightful. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, nice.
Sorry, what is your name again?
My name's Becky.
Becky. Okay, Becky. Thank you. Nice to meet you.
Okay, take care.
I'll see you there.
Okay, good.
Thank you.
All right. Yeah.
Becky, will you be there in October?
I get there after your retreat, actually. I'm hosting the women's retreat at the end of October.
Okay.
Yeah, my daughter starts in high school this September.
Oh, nice.
So I'll be supporting her with the first couple of months there, and then I'll be heading down to the jungle around the 25th, 26th, 27th. So no, I won't see you there, but I can see who will be facilitating then. Let me just have a look at the calendar. General scheduling. October. Phoebe and Mike and Miguel, probably Miguel. I'm not 100% sure about that. So Phoebe and Mike for sure. So
Phoebe and Mike.
yeah. So Phoebe is a good friend who's got more than 20 years of experience with plant medicine. And Mike is a guy from Calgary who's also a good friend. And he's been dieting, gosh, I don't know, probably about 6 years now, I'd say.
Okay.
In his early 40s. Yeah, they're both really sweet people and very supportive. You'll be great with them. And possibly my husband, although we have some private family possible travel that he might have to do to visit Chile. So we'll see.
Okay. Are there many booked? Because we haven't actually booked it yet. Are there many booked for this? Are they always full? Are they always?
But that time of year does get full. Usually,
yes, I need to book it. Yeah.
Yeah, at the moment it's not. Oh, actually, this next retreat we're starting next Monday is full, but the next one is not. The September one is, and the October one, it's not right now. I know it's not, but it might not be long. You know, like
I need to book it. Yeah,
basically,
I'll do that.
Back into their, see here in North America, the kind of school year, the calendar year really starts, not the calendar year, sorry, the kind of work year, school year starts September 5th, I think. And so once that starts, everybody starts planning their
right,
their winter stuff. Like August right now, everybody's distracted. They're all kind of having fun at the beach. But September 4th and 5th, yeah, that's when the bookings for the fall and the winter really start coming in.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I hope that was helpful for you, Leah.
Yeah, very much. Thank you. Appreciate that.
You're welcome. And as I mentioned to Dennis, if you have other questions come up, feel free to email the general email, team@cayashobo.com.
Yeah.
And and also for your sister Amber, you know, we'll keep interacting with her about trying to give her the best support and the best results that she can hope for from the retreat.
Oh, that sounds fantastic. Super excited.
Amazing.
And I thank you for all your information and your time. You know, it's just all of our questions have been answered either from emailing and from the information sessions that you put up. So I feel very I'm not nervous at all. You know, I feel like it's the right people, and you're very professional and very cautious. So
great.
Yeah.
Hey Leah, that's great. I'm happy you feel well, and we look forward to seeing you in the jungle.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. Okay. Bye for now.